They say winning ain't everything. Well, we don't have them type conversations over here, man. Had that conversation with the losers. We trying to win at everything we do. Even in the loss, we don't see defeat. We see a lesson learned. Straight up. Look, I came into this world in 1978. The doc looked me in my face and knew I was something great. 45, 42 Prescott, that's where I'm from. Grew up in the slums around dope dealers and bums. As humble as I was, I adapted to my habitat. In my own lane though, far from where they crashing at. Dumb bar graduate, the game I'd have mastered it. Served in the Navy, look, y'all don't know the half of it. Pops passed in 01, moms passed last year. I know they up in heaven smiling down, crying mad tears, cause they son making it. No telling where I'm taking it. My city been cursed, but I feel that I'm breaking it. Coached at Wayne High in 15 in one state. Seen the fork in the road and went straight. I know what I'm worth, I'm OG King Kirk. Brooklyn Nets Gaming crew legend, let's work.
Hey, this is OG King Kirk, your host of the OG2CENTS podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you who continue to tune in each and every week. We truly appreciate it. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, share, comment. Helps us out a lot. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating. Links will be in the descriptions for all available streaming platforms. Let's continue to stand up against any forms of social injustice and racism. And this episode is brought to you by Zenny Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks virtual clear blue blockers. It's important to protect your eyes from the harmful light from your digital screens, so you have less eye strain, and that makes for better sleep and performance. Check them out at zenny.com/gaming or follow them at Zenny Gaming on Twitter and Instagram. This episode 78, a Pros Pro with NateKahl. Nathaniel Kahl, aka NateKahl, will always be considered one of the founding legends of the NBA 2K League. After being selected 26 overall in the 2018 draft, Nate helped Knicks Gaming claim the league's first ever championship. His defensive brilliance against the 5-out attack of Heat Check Gaming resulted in him taking Finals MVP honors. Unlike some of his Season 1 peers, Nate's longevity is evident, having remained in the league and loading up for NetsGC and Pacers Gaming in previous years. The Wisconsin native returned back to New York this past season and averaged 8.9 points per game, 1.3 assists, 1.6 steals, while shooting 62% from the field and 51% from deep. Knicks Gaming finished 14-14 and was eliminated in the Eastern Conference semifinals by Worcester District Gaming. The organization has made the playoffs every season NateKahl has played for them. Now, I'll tell you, NateKahl is a phenomenal NBA 2K player, but he's a far much greater person. So without further ado, NateKahl, how you doing, man?
What is going on? OG King Kurt, man. It's good to be here. I know we've been trying to do this for a while, so it's gonna be good to knock this out.
Yeah, man. I mean, you're looking good. Like, I mean, you know, this ain't the Nate that I met season 2. Like, yeah. And this probably ain't the same OG you met in season 2. Neither.
It's not. We both changed our ways a little bit, Kurt.
Without a doubt, man. And I'm not about to take all of the credit. I mean, shots played a major part. Chalk, Slay, like they played a major part, and it motivated me it unknowingly motivated me, because I mean, I watched them work out and train every day, and then I said, man, let me get my fat ass, you know, but in shape, man. Like, you know, often when you're not looking good, like when you to yourself, when you're not looking good or feeling good, I mean, you know it. I mean, it's just whether or not you want to do something about it. I mean, and for me, they helped me out a lot, man. You know, we're going to get into that. But just to kick everything off, a lot of people know you. Some people may not. You got a great story. I mean, you one of the league vets in our league. Been around the block. Managed to stay in New York quite a while. But I just want you to talk about your journey through the league, far as spending time with Knicks Gaming, Nets Gaming crew, Pacers Gaming, back to Knicks Gaming. Just talk about your experience and what that's been like.
Yeah. I mean, it's been what, 4 years now. So, going into season 5. I mean, obviously coming into the league with the Knicks, I've said this a million times, like ended up being a Cinderella story. We won the chip, blah, blah, blah. It was great. Love the org, love everybody there. And then come to the Nets season 2. And, we do our thing. I still think to this day, and I tell everybody this, that team season 2 with the Nets, call a spade, we didn't have the skill, 1 through 6 to, go all the way and win, but we made a pretty good push that I think gets overseen sometimes. And we also had damn good chemistry together. Like we all got along, we were playing Monopoly, we were watching Game of Thrones, we were watching NBA. Like I've never been on a team that has had that much off the court chemistry as I did season 2 with the Nets. So, obviously we wanted to play better. I think me personally, like after winning a championship, I kind of thought that was the norm. I was just gonna win. Ended up not being that way. So, I learned a lesson from that. And then obviously going into season 3 with the Pacers, we sucked. I mean, we were terrible. COVID didn't help. Our chemistry wasn't terrible, but we just weren't a great team. We weren't even a good team. We weren't an average team most of the season. So that was, I try to forget about that season as much as I can. And then obviously last season with the Knicks, we were able to get hot late. We were kind of called split gaming, or whatever, Knicks split. We split every series. I know you guys kind of had the same stigma around you guys. Split GC. Yeah. So we made a good run. I thought we had pretty good chemistry. We had a pretty good team, and that was it. So yeah, that's kind of been my journey. I think now looking forward, I'm kind of in the position where I'm just like, I know what I'm capable of doing as a player in the league, not only in terms of like my skill, but obviously like intangibles, and I'm learning and I'm growing. And I know a lot of people might look at that and be like, oh, that's bullshit, or, whatever, blah, blah. But that stuff really does matter in the league. The Wizards just went back to back, and it wasn't just because they're damn good on the sticks. There's no doubt about it. But Ryan will tell you, Ak will tell you, Jack will tell you, they get along, they have chemistry, all that stuff. So that stuff matters. And yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. So, it's been a crazy journey so far. We'll see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen season 5, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah. Let me say this, just to piggyback off of what you said about, actually was my first season, with NetsGC. I think that team does always get overlooked. I mean, because probably largely because we fumbled the last couple of weeks, but at the same time, I think, it really, it's funny because from that year to every year following, no matter who's been on the roster, I think NetsGC always gets overlooked. Like, I mean, it's just been a common thing. But that team, I tell people all the time, like, it was a different vibe. Like, it was a different, like, aura. Like, I mean, and I think COVID played a large part in the last couple seasons with not only us, but a lot of teams. But that season, we got to experience everything. We got to do things, the live studio play, travel back and forth. It just, it set up moments for us to be as tight as we was. And not saying that everything was perfect, but I enjoyed that group. Like, I mean,
heck yeah, man.
It was constant laughs. That's when I finally got the now I see Tito's everywhere. But like but then I didn't even know I wasn't even hip to Tito's then.
Right.
But it's it's funny. I mean, I think that team, I mean, probably a lot of people wouldn't know about it now. I mean, but if you just look within the organization and how everything has went from that time all the way up until now, that was the team that crawled, so everybody could walk and run now. I mean, from housing to everything. Like it's on a whole nother level now. But that team kind of like set the bar, so to speak. And I mean, and we've been building ever since. So, that was for people that don't know, that was, of course, Nate, um, you know, Wavy, Shockey,
Shuttles, Chaz.
Aziz,
Yeah.
Chaz.
Yeah.
I mean, some good guys. Like, I mean, some overall good guys. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna put it out there. I mean, I think personally, if some things that if it was some things that I can do over, I think I would have set more of a precedence with lineups, roles and responsibilities, and I think that's things that obviously you learn to grow with. But I think with that team, if I would have moved some things around and kept some certain things stable, we arguably could have made the playoffs. I mean,
Right.
Chaz should have played. Like literally, he should have played. Like I mean, and I think to myself, I used to think to myself all the time. Of course, you got to move on, but that's one of the things I would have done different. And Lav was on that team. He did a hell of a job at the 4 when he played, and I think Chaz should have played more, at shooting guard, and Shuttle should have stayed stable at center, and then we could have worked around that. But those are
Yeah.
things that you obviously grow from.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm the same way. I feel like looking back at that season, and you said it already. I mean, what were we? We were three games away. We ended, I think, the season 7-9, but we
Right.
could have got into the playoffs if we had won a few more games down the stretch. I think we fumbled that one against the Grizzlies.
The
We played the
Wizards, Day Fry didn't
Wizards
play.
with no Day Fry. That one, oh man, that stings, bro. That one stings. But yeah, we could have, figured something out, but it in hindsight, it happened the way it happened. Can't turn back the clocks, but it was still a fun season, all things considered.
Right. Now, I know this, and people I'm sure close to you know this, but you love New York without a doubt. Like I
Love it.
mean, New York is the place for NateKahl.
It's in my blood. Yeah, it's in my
Right.
blood. Yeah.
So, to go back, obviously, like you said, you was with Knicks Gaming, NetsGC, Pacers Gaming, then come back to Knicks Gaming. Like, what was that feeling? Like, I mean, because you're going back to the place where it all started. You won a chip. And like I said, I don't know anybody who's not from New York who loves New York more than you. So what
Yeah.
did that feel like to know that you were going back?
Yeah, literally draft. I had ideas that I was maybe going there, maybe not. You never really know. Draft night, I was hanging out with my guy D, and we were in my apartment watching the draft. And the pick came, and I actually didn't get the call until like simultaneously as the pick was coming in, that I was going to the Knicks. And I just broke, like I just broke down. Because at that point too, and I'm just speaking this honest right now, and I haven't really said this before, but last year going into the draft, coming off of that Pacer season, I was at a point where I was like, if I don't get back into the league, I won't feel like I went out on my own terms. And that was going to sit. It wasn't about the money, whatever, blah, blah. That was going to sit with me for a while. I was like, if I go out, if I'm not in the league one day, I can live with that. It's going to happen. But it's like, let me go out. Let me give one more swing at least. And then to go to the Knicks, it's like, I love New York. Everybody that knows me knows I love the city, everything about it. So when I went there, talked to Rudy, talked to Jerry, it was great. I was probably shed a few tears. I was emotional. Got some Tito's in my system. I was feeling good. And yeah, that was it. But it was more about not, like I said, not going out on my own terms or not stopping on my own terms. That was a big deal to me. I told my dad that, told my brother that, told D that. Like, that was a huge deal to me, is to go out on my own terms whenever I'm done.
Okay. I mean, now, veteran, like,
Yeah.
here we are. We just completed season 4. You've been in the league all 4 years. Without a doubt, I don't see you not being in the league for season 5. I want you to talk about what it means to be a veteran. And you were on a team with some young dogs. Like, I mean, not only just like far as their status in the league, but they're actually, young. Like, I mean,
Right.
so talk about, your advantage of just being experienced and being a veteran in the league.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is understanding kind of the ebbs and flows of the season. Like you're gonna have bad scrim blocks. You're gonna have shitty days where everyone is mad at each other and, oh, we need to run this lineup or we need to do that lineup or whatever, blah blah blah. And trying to understand and Glow, Malik, Duck, all them, they'll tell you like we had our ups and downs for sure, but we came together when it mattered. And I think that that's something that over the 4 years I've kind of been able to sit back and be like, okay, this is, this is how we can come together. This is things that we can do to come together. And a lot of it, and just being honest, again, transparent, like a lot of it does come from winning. You got to win, you got to be good at the game because you can talk all the mumble jumble you want. And if you're losing, it's like, well, there's no weight behind it. Like, so it's, it sounds good in retrospect, but you got to win. And so, yeah, that's definitely the biggest thing I've learned in the past 4 years, just kind of how to put it together when it matters.
Yeah. Now, speaking on that, I mean, you like what we call, first generation.
Yeah.
And now it's to a point that it's only limited numbers of players from the first season that's in the league now to still be one of those guys. I mean, it has to be sometimes kind of bittersweet because, I mean, it's been a lot of guys that you came up with, that you competed with, against. Just, what does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, for example, everyone off that Nets tier except for Lav, no one's even in the league anymore. So it's like everyone on my Knicks team, season 1, outside of Goofy, isn't in the league. So it's like, it's like I'm playing with house money at this point. Like I'm like, I got nothing to lose, So it means a lot, man. Like because I'll be honest with you, like there are moments where I do or I did take the league for granted. Like I was just like, oh, I'm a top player. I'm more than a serviceable lock. Like I'm always going to be around, whatever. And that's just not the case. Like people can see through that. People can see your work ethic. People can see your intangibles. So if you don't stay sharp on that stuff, you're out the door just like that. So it's been humbling for sure.
No, without a doubt. I think, we're going to talk about some things like that as I want you to give some keys to the younger players and how to, stay around in the league. But I think a lot of players go through that where they feel that because they're one of the top players or they possess an extreme amount of talent that, that they're always going to be in the league and that they're always going to be at the pinnacle of it. And that's
Right.
not always the case. And I mean, I think even like for me, for somebody who came from the community and to hold a position that I have now, I definitely don't. I just got to the point where I kind of relaxed just a little bit of like thinking like, okay, I know I'm gonna come back, or like I'll be
Right.
back the following season. I've never really lived like that. I mean, I've always like just keep that hard hat approach and just go hard each and every year and hope for the best. I mean, because you never know. I mean, anything can
Never
happen.
know. Literally anything can happen. Anything. So
So,
yeah.
now back back in the gym, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm on your IG stories. I'm
Yeah.
on your Instagram. Like, you ain't really like you taking it easy because you ain't really putting out a lot of stuff like
I know.
visually. Like if they
I
ain't,
need to be putting out even more. I need
you,
to.
you do because if they ain't on your story, they missing it.
I
Now,
know. I
the
know.
one pick in particular with you and your bro, like I
Yeah.
mean, now that like I mean he been killing it too, man. I want
Yeah.
you to talk about your journey and getting back into the weight room, and don't leave out your bro too, because y'all I see y'all hitting it together.
Yeah. No, that's my brother. That's D right there. Yeah. November 2019, I was actually with D. We were in my basement. We were playing 2K. And I was feeling like this sharp pain in my chest. Long story short, I ended up going to the hospital. thought I might have had a mini heart attack. I overreacted. It wasn't that. You know, they told me pretty much it was like I had like some heart murmurs in my heart. And my grandma had took me, this was when I was still living with my grandma. This was late 2019. And she had told me, you know, she was looking in my face. She was like, you know, we got to do something about this. And, you know, I was like, yeah, I was like, I got it. I'm too young. I was 23 at the time. I was like, I'm too young to be, you know, eating as crappy as I was eating, not being motivated, being lazy. Like there was no excuse for it. So literally I remember it was a Saturday. The next day was a Sunday. My boy DR and me, we were talking and he was just like, I'm getting you in the gym. Cause he had already started his grind and, you know, he knew what he was doing. So literally the next day joined the gym, got a membership and that was late 2019. That was before COVID and hit the ground running and just didn't look back. Created discipline for myself, accountability, what I'm putting in my body, you know, the balance between like cardio and lifting weights, finding ways to like actually enjoy the gym. Like when I'm at the gym, it's because like it's not work for me anymore. It's like I enjoy being there. You know, it's a passion for me. It's like I love like I relieve anxiety, stress, all that stuff that happens through the day. Like I get all that out at the gym. And I still have balance. I still, you know, I have cheap meals or whatever you want, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, I eat good occasionally. I'll have some alcohol, I have some wine, like whatever. But I think I found a discipline for myself and I found that it kind of led into other areas of my life, you know, like mentally I feel sharper. I feel more confident when I'm talking to women. I feel more confident when I'm talking to men, like more so than I did 2.5 years ago. So yeah, and he's been on the journey with me the whole way. You know, we work out together, you know, we're kind of on different schedules now, but especially in the start, I mean, we were 5, 6, 7 days a week, you know, hour and a half, 2.5 hour gym sessions, just putting in the work. And that's kind of our mentality is put in the work and, you know, you kind of get out what you put in. You know, don't cut corners, none of that. So yeah, that's kind of the short version of all of it, even though it probably sounded like a lot. That's kind of where we're at and where I'm at. So
No, I mean, so a few things. Can you are you like 80-20 in it? Like strict during the week? Then
I'm pretty strict during the week. Yeah, I'm pretty strict. Yeah, I try to Monday through Friday, I keep it clean. I do try to keep it clean. Yep.
Got
Yep.
you.
And
Now,
then during the weekends, I'll let loose a little bit more.
okay. What are some things that like you like cut back on
Right.
or completely eliminated? And then what are some things that you added to your
That's a
diet?
great question. Yeah. Soda is completely out of the equation. I don't think I've touched soda for 2 years. So I try to preach, don't drink your calories as much as you can avoid to. It just doesn't fill you up. It's not worth it. If you want to have sugar or something sweet, go eat. I'd rather you have ice cream or a donut. Like don't drink soda. That works for me. Something that I've added, I try to get vegetables in because they're dense, so they fill you up more. Whole foods, stuff like that. Chicken breast, ground turkey, lean beef, steak is fine. Don't overdo it, but it's fine. Um, I'll tell you this, Kurt, like my biggest thing when it comes to just strictly nutrition is to not put crazy limitations. Like don't treat food as like being evil, because I used to do that and it would taint my relationship with food and my mindset that I had with food, because I was like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. And now I try to look at food as like, no, like that's what gives you energy. Like that's what fuels you. Like you look at athletes like DK Metcalf. He's not eating like a stick every day. Like he's eating food. Like he's putting fuel in his body. So I had to create that mindset for me. And it's worked out pretty well. So
Got you. Now, how often are you hitting the gym?
right now I'm hitting the gym probably 6 days a week. I usually try to take one day on the weekend off, but that's just because I enjoy it so much and it just occupies my time. I probably could hit, you're fine, 3 or 4 days, 2 to 3 days, as long as you stay consistent, that's fine. Like you don't need to hit it 6 days a week. You just don't.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're in the off season. You got a new pad. I mean,
Yeah, I
other
do.
than working out, like what have you been doing this off season?
Yeah, so obviously got back like mid-September. Um doing a few things. Right now I'm actually with Verizon right now doing I'm working sales right now. So I've been doing that. I started that like 3 weeks ago, middle October. So I've been doing that kind of as like a day gig. Still playing the game. Probably not playing it as much as I need to be playing it. I think we're gonna I'd say once Thanksgiving rolls around, I'll start to crank that up a little bit more. But I ended up playing pretty good amount through the month of October. And then just kicking it with my guy D, doing our thing in the gym. I gotta start creating some more fitness content just because that's what I'll just keep it real with you. I'm not super passionate about creating 2K content. Like I'm just not, I'm not crazy passionate about that. When it comes to fitness though, I am a little bit more passionate about creating some content. So I just actually got a tripod. I got it the other day. So I'm gonna try to get some more content for fitness.
Yeah, now I've been doing that. I had a thing where I was trying to get it. I was trying to figure out how I was going to use TikTok. Now I see how other people use TikTok. I mean, I'm not dancing. Like I'm not
Right.
doing.
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but that's like I'm like you. I'm like what you
Yeah.
saying. Like I'm going to focus on what I'm passionate about because I believe when you focus within your passion and purpose, there's no quitting. There's no
That's it.
it's just full force and you're relentless about doing it. So that's how I've always operated. And sometimes I've been criticized for that, but I just do what works for me. So
That's literally what you got to do. It doesn't like I cannot preach on that, and I don't care what it is. Like, and I've been like I see the TikToks that you put on Instagram. Like I always give them love. Like I think that's cool because you're showing like you care about it. So it's like it's going to work for you in the long run, regardless.
yeah, and the thing about it was that was I was like, okay, like this is what I'm gonna use to start my TikTok. Now I add some motivational Mondays in here,
Right.
some winning Wednesdays and different stuff like that. But really the workout part has took over because it's really more so therapeutic. Like a lot of people, like they'll hit me up and be like, "Hey man, when you going to the gym, like let me know. Like I'll work out with you." But me, like, and I probably should say this from going forward is that I really like working out by myself. Like I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it now,
Right.
my brother, we got some TikToks together. Now that's like that's bro. Like that's a little different. That's like you and D. Like y'all know how y'all are. You know what you needed. Like you got that chemistry when because you know how you go into the gym with certain people, man, and like
It's different.
you
It can mess up your flow. I get it.
yeah,
Yeah, I get it.
like
Yeah.
it's not the same. So
Yeah.
like I always it's just so therapeutic. I put my beats in. I'm putting my camera up now. You mentioned something that I have to do. I need to get my tripod. I need to get a tripod, like
Yeah.
because I
It's huge.
think like
Yeah.
I try to capture different angles. Now, the one thing about it for me is a lot of time I know how I want to look and I know what the focus is. So I've always been the type that I focus on particular areas more than I do others because I know how I want to build and I know how I want to look. And sometimes some of the workouts look repetitive, but the sets, the weights, and different things like that offset and all of that. But I just like want to show people like, hey, this is where I was at, day 250 and
Right.
now, ago. And then this is where I'm at now. I mean, and even for me, I a lot of people have been asking for me to put out a video on like what did I do? Because I dropped like 85 pounds, bro. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
and the funny thing about it, Nate, I swear to you, I didn't realize like how drastic it was until I seen a picture of myself. And it probably hit you the same way. Like,
It
cause
hits
I
it, man. It hit me crazy. Yeah. It was crazy.
cause you never look at yourself the way other people look at you or the way the camera hits you. So
No.
I had took a picture. I was at the gym one day, a couple of friends of mine, they personal trainers, look good, everything, all that. And they was weighing themselves, on a scale. And I was like, man, let me get on there. And I hopped on there and it said 229. And I'm like,
Yeah.
bruh, I ain't seen 229 in like 2-3 years. Like, if that. Like,
Yeah.
so it was like mind blowing. And then I had somebody take a picture of us. and it was like, damn, like I really look different. Like, so I mean, that's when I really started feeling good about it, and eventually I'm gonna put a video out about it. I mean,
I
just
was gonna
trying to.
say, yeah, because I'm interested too, and to see what got you going, and like what was your spark, and then how you stay with it. Like what do you do to stay disciplined? Because everyone's got their own story.
Right.
Everyone's got their own story. So like, I try to tell as many people as I can. I'm like, share your story because you never know who you're motivating. Like you never. I'll get messages or whatever by the most random people I wouldn't even thought, and they're just like, hey, it'll be short and sweet. It'll be like, hey man, your journey is dope. Keep doing your thing. You're inspiring. Whatever. From the person you wouldn't even expect.
Right.
So it's like,
without a doubt.
yeah,
Now, at this point of the show, it's called OG Wants to Know. Answer open and honestly as possible.
I got you.
Biggest influence.
Honestly, man, right now at this point in my life, D, as my brother D. That at this point, it's changed throughout. Sometimes my grandma, my dad, whatever. The way D, his work ethic in life in general, just the way that he approaches life, that inspires me more than anything right now.
Gotcha. What motivates you?
What motivates me? Trying to get better every single day, like seeing improvements, incremental improvements in any aspect of my life, like whatever it could be, gym, eating, talking to people, like trying to be a better listener, whatever, for sure.
Okay. The best part of being in the NBA 2K League.
The experiences you get with your teammates when you're winning, when you're up, all that stuff. That's the best part.
Favorite NBA player of all time.
LeBron James. I mean, that's yeah.
Favorite quote.
Favorite quote. I can't remember who quoted it, but I got it in Indy. It might have been It might have been like Thomas Edison, something like that. Well done is better than well said.
Gotcha. Favorite actor and actress.
Favorite actor, Leonardo DiCaprio. Favorite actress, Scarlett Johansson.
Favorite 2K.
2K17.
Favorite genre of music.
Hip hop.
Favorite movie of all time.
The Great Gatsby.
Okay. Favorite NBA team.
I'm gonna say the Cavs when LeBron was on it, 2015 through 2018. That's my favorite NBA team.
Gotcha. Favorite place in New York.
Ooh. It might have to be Prince Street Pizza.
Hey man, that's the pizza though, man.
It's literally the best pizza I've ever had. Like it's amazing.
Hey, shout out to YL for getting. He got me hip to it. I don't know how you got hip to it.
He put me onto it too. Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, wild put me on.
He's the ultimate food connoisseur.
Yeah, he is. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to food.
Okay, a couple things before we get out of here. This past season, your homeboy Slay, like, took the league by storm. Like, I mean, a lot of people counted him out, thought it was a bad pick at 60, and he plays phenomenal all over the place, but particularly at power forward. Like, you guys came up together, Island Gang, everything. How did it feel to watch your bro like do his thing in the league?
I mean, it was amazing. I mean, as much we would give each other shit, about whatever, we would give each other crap, but it was amazing. I already know that he's that type of player though. He gets a lot of bad rap or disrespect or whatever because he's Slay, and it's probably that stigma from all the crap we used to talk when we were at Island Gang when we were younger, whatever. But he's a great player. He knows what he's doing. He's got stick. He's a hard worker. He's consistent, all that stuff. So it was amazing to watch.
Gotcha. And definitely, I learned a lot more about Slay good
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, that I, and I've been knowing you guys since the jump. Like, I mean,
Right.
but
Yeah. Literally since the jump. Literally.
so that's always my favorite part about the 2K League is actually just being able to establish relationships. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. Like, I mean, it happens. I
Oh
mean,
yeah. Yeah.
but
Yes.
that's the part that I enjoy the most. Now, before you get out of here, I want you to tell the young players that's trying to stay in the league. Um, give them some advice on how to lengthen your career as somebody who's heading into their fifth season.
Yeah. Well, I'll give them what's worked for me, and that's you. Obviously, you gotta be good at the game. Whatever. That's a prerequisite. You gotta be good at the game. You can't be an a-hole. All that stuff. You have to find a way, whether it's to be perceived that way or to be with your teammates, whatever. You have to find a way to impact the people around you outside of just being good at the game. If you can do that, the stigma around your name will be fine. People will be like, oh, at least I know what I'm getting from them in terms of intangible wise. And that's why I feel like I've been around for as long as I have. It's like, okay, we know Nate's not going to come in here. Like, you can ask any coach I've had in my 4 years. I've only had 3, but you can ask every coach I feel like I've had in my 4 years, and they're like, Nate didn't cause issues. Maybe he got into a few arguments here or there, whatever. But overall, I know what I can bring to the table and bring to a team. And I think that should be the mindset that these younger guys should have coming in, is like, how can I differentiate myself in terms of working on my personality, my intangibles, all that stuff? Because that goes a long way with people, like beyond the 2K League, but just with people in general. So, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say this before we get out of here is that when I had to make the call that we were trading you to the Pacers, uh, it definitely wasn't it's like everybody sits and talk about if I was a GM, I would do this and I would do that and all this and all.
Yeah.
But like, it's no other feeling when you're in that position and you have to make the calls and you call the shots and you become emotionally invested in people, not players, in people, and it's not the easiest thing to do. And because you're a great person, I mean, that will forever supersede what you do on the sticks. I mean, so to have to do that was tough, and I think that's been the toughest. And I've dealt with a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
throughout my
Yeah.
time, but that was probably the toughest moment that for me at this moment. Since I've been with NetsGC, but we always remain tight. I mean, and everything like that, and I've personally was happy to see you thriving and succeeding throughout the season, and look forward to you doing that. And man, I can't wait till we get back in person and being able to see each
Facts.
other and
Facts.
chop it up
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But let everybody know where they can find you on social media before we get out of here.
Yeah. So you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, anything at NateKahl, NateKahl.
Well, man, Nate, thanks for coming on.
I appreciate you for having
Appreciate
me
you.
on.
Like the episode said, a pro's pro. So if you ever get a chance to have a conversation with Nate, you know, enjoy it. I mean, he's one of the best people that our league has to offer. So, Nate, thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it, Kurt, for real, man.
Hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this episode. Remember, you can catch the OG2CENTS podcast on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, also here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Don't forget that. Follow the OG2CENTS podcast on social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Follow myself at OG King Kurt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and TikTok as well. Make sure you can go to www.ogkingkurt.com for everything for the OG2CENTS podcast and myself. Shout out to my team, Strider Visuals, Box Graphics, Evermore, and Matrix for help making the OG2CENTS podcast is what it is today. You can make sure you catch me on Esports Extra every Saturday and Sunday on the Black News Channel, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's Esports Extra, BNC, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday and Sunday, and that's with host Larry Ridley. The crew, Kelly Wells Brinkley, Antonio Williams, Durham Royale, Brandon Bell, and producer extraordinaire Kevin Mamuzet. Like I said, that's Esports Extra every Saturday and Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Black News Channel. You can also grab some OG2CENTS podcasts and OG King Kurt merch at www.skulls.com/OG King Kurt, where you can get long sleeves tees, short sleeve t-shirts, hoodies, joggers, hats, phone covers, mugs, you name it, it's on there. Also use OG 15% code. That'll get you 15% off of your order. But make sure you stop by, grab you some merch. And if you happen to purchase some, post it on social media, tag us, and we'll definitely give you some love on the following episode of the OG2CENTS podcast. Make sure you tune in to next week's episode. And remember, if it makes sense, it's an OG2CENTS. OG out.
Put this work in, fellas. And much, much, much love to the entire 2K community for always showing me love. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Yeah.